Good afternoon everybody. This is Sunday afternoon over in Leeds, and I wanted to show you some of the changes between this nice new, well, not so shiny, it was shiny last week, nice new 90D versus my old 85S, which was a year old. This one's about 3 months old, I think. It was manufactured, or it was registered in June this year in the UK. What's interesting was I've got some extra spec items, but I got some extra goodies which I didn't really expect. So these are the things that you will probably benefit from if you move to a newer model. This isn't the brand new shape, this is the previous shape, but there's still lots of improvements to be had. First thing is the frunk. So if I do the little key press, here we go, and if you notice, I think the first experience I had with my 85 was you press the button and it doesn't open. So this one, lo and behold, she opens straight away. Brilliant. So I think there is a different kind of mechanism going on here. This certainly looks different. I think the opening was much bigger and the whole kind of paraphernalia was different on the 85, so clearly some improvements in the locking mechanism. Also, I noticed the finish has improved dramatically around the edges here of this soundproofing. Before there was loads of glue all kind of merging out of here. Now everything's in good shape. Big disappointment is the front is much smaller than I expected. I didn't actually see this car before I bought it. I bought it online. Lo and behold, it's half the size of the old frunk. So we've got severe frontal shrunkenness going on here, which is bit disappointing, so we're just going to have to keep the shopping basket down to a minimum. There we go. Other key point, and this is really important, see here we have a lovely firm frunk. It's certainly much firmer than it was before, whereas previously you'd close the frunk and then you'd hope that by very gently pressing it, it wouldn't bend. This frunk just closes like that. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, so tell you what I'll do. I'll show you the one thing that hasn't changed. When I press my button here, which should open the flap. Did you hear the click? Let's try again. Years on, and they still haven't cracked. Opening the port, there you go. Use my fingers and it comes out. That's a shocker. I think I need to wipe some gunk off the inside, but that really should work when you buy the vehicle. Let's have a look inside. Okay, here we are, inside. So, all pretty standard, but the thing I didn't expect from my second generation chairs, or seats, was that they're lovely and soft. So obviously the leather's been upgraded. The other leather on the first generation was okay, but it was a bit shiny and it was just a bit bog standard, whereas this is plush and much nicer to the touch. Smells nicer too, so big improvement. The other thing I noticed straight away, which I really didn't know was coming my way, was this bit here and this bit here. These two armrests used to be really quite firm, such that your elbows would get a bit sore if you were travelling and moving around. These are lovely and soft and squishy. Can you see, as I squeeze it, you can see the impact. The old ones would never do that. They were literally like pieces of wood to put your arms on. There we go, so improvement in comfort. A couple more things. We've moved up from 3G to LTE free of charge, which is great. Some kind of improvements in the mapping. I think it's not massive, but you see that was fairly quick. Previously it could have taken, you know, a few seconds to reach this point, but you can see it's working its way through nice and quickly. Not a massive amount of bars here, so maybe that's doing its job a bit better. Looking downwards, it's a little bit dirty, isn't it? But this mat here used to be an absolute pain in the backside previously, because the last Model S, it would keep ruffling up. So every time you drove, you'd have to use your heels and pull it back out again because it would not stay in position. And I've heard that's quite a common issue. Now that's been solved. Simple thing, but there's clearly some kind of redesign. Maybe these pads are a bit bigger. I don't know what's happened, but this map stays in place beautifully. Good news. The other change is a guess, but I suspect this little tray here is at a deeper angle than the previous version, because when I put my stuff in, it doesn't seem to fly around as much as it used to. So previously, I'm sure you've experienced this, when you accelerate, things fly out and scratching this surface down here. That's a bit of a pain. So I think that could have changed, but it's just a theory at this stage. The other thing about the 90D, this is not a P90D, this is a 90D, is the acceleration is different and it's significantly improved. I mean, really improved. Isn't that great? It's kind of neck achingly fast now, whereas previously it was a nice kind of jerk that you got from it. Now you get some severe physical sensations as this thing accelerates. So it's not subtle, it's really noticeable. The other thing I noticed is, of course, it's got two engines, and you can hear a whee coming out the front as the engine in the front does its stuff. So it's actually a noisier vehicle, but the whiz from the front is quite good fun, really, because it does add that kind of turbocharger sort of sound to things. So it makes the vehicle sound a lot more sporty, so it's not such a bad thing. There's also torque, or according to the specification, you should get more watt hours per mile out of this thing. And generally, I think there is, well, it's no worse, but my experiences so far suggest it could be an improvement. This thing tops out at 353 miles. I've got the full range here. I've got the rated range, I think it is, not the average range, and it rates to about 353, so there's definitely about 40 odd extra miles of range according to that estimate. So yeah, so far so good on the range. It's doing very nicely. It's too early to say whether it's actually more economical than the other version. And that's it, really. Good car. It's well worth moving up from your old S85 to a 90 if you've got a little bit of cash knocking around. You will really probably enjoy